Welcome to episode 389 of the Postal Hub podcast. I'm Ian Kerr. Something a bit different to kick off 2026. I've got 4 guests in this episode, all 4 interviews recorded at the OMNIC stand at Parcel+Post Expo last year. OMNIC set up a special little studio there for me to record a few interviews. So who have we got? We've got Miloš Zlatković, the founder and CEO of Mily Technologies. We've got Erik Wilhelm, the head of research at Kyburz. We've got Jorn Steward from the Information Factory, and Jorn Spiertz, the co-founder and CEO of Shiptimize. 4 very different topics from 4 very different speakers, all relevant to the postal and delivery world. So, well, first up, we've got Miloš Zlatković from Mily Technologies. I'm here with Miloš Zlatković, from the CEO of Mily Technologies. We want to talk about AI, but without enlarging the bubble.
Yeah, of course.
Let's talk about practical applications of AI. What are you seeing when it comes to practical applications of AI in the postal delivery last mile space?
So, of course, there's a lot of buzz around it. How we approach this, basically, we looked at the cycle of problems that our customers need to solve in the process of building, managing, and scaling the networks. And we've seen that there's a lot of wrestling with the data, especially when you need to come up with, let's say, I need to find all the supermarkets, I want to partner with this chain, but are their locations complementary to ours and so forth? So we actually made it very easy as a conversation. So you type in, okay, I want all Lidl locations, let's say, in Amsterdam, or I want all supermarkets in Amsterdam. And then from those, I might choose actually which ones I want to partner with. So that's one practical application. And there's no limit to basically the collection of leads that they can build out of it. That's just one example. The other one is, let's say you want to focus on a particular zip codes because you know you have a lot of volume there, but where are the boundaries of the zip codes? Do you really want to go and try to sketch that yourself? Again, we made it very easy as a simple conversation. I want to focus on these particular zip codes. Can you actually find me an area? And then from that point on, I can use the leads that I used previously and start actually building out my network. So those are, let's say, the 2 examples where we've seen. The ones that are coming are also related to, there's a lot of people working on the network design, but am I sharing my thoughts actually with you? Is the model that I build actually as clear to you as it is to me? So we actually make it very easy. So like, okay, what are the changes that I made? Can I summarize that and actually make it easy for you? So those are very simple, small examples where you don't need to do a lot, but you actually focus on where the people spend a lot of time, automate that and make it very easy.
So you have to start with having the data. Right. So the AI is being used to query the data. Am I right in that's how you're approaching it?
So it's a mix of private data and also the public data. So it's really about the data that is out there, but you don't need to do the scouting for it. We actually embed that as part of the platform. So for you as a client, it's ready to use. It's for us to make sure that you have all the data readily available so you can use it.
But this is a specialized application of AI, but you're using it to query what's out there, and it's able to, I imagine, doing it a lot quicker than us mere mortals can. That's
the goal, and it is a little bit of a magical feeling because suddenly you know that you've been looking for that data set for quite some time, and suddenly you just type it in and it's there. So it works quite well.
Are we at the beginning of something big here when it comes to AI, and should we be concerned at all that those of us who are knowledge professionals might have a job?
No, I think it's the way, how logistics is. It's a very practical industry, so you really need to solve the problem. People don't really care if it's AI or tomorrow something else. The question is it really solving my problem at the hand, and can it actually help me be better at my job? This is how we approach it, and this is basically what resonates with people. I think it will become easier for us to solve problems at a higher level. So instead of actually wrestling with data, I think, we'll be able to solve problems of a higher degree, and I think AI will just make it easier for us.
So it could be drawing out insights that we might not necessarily have detected.
Exactly.
Yeah. Miloš Zlatković, thanks very much for joining us today.
My pleasure, yeah.
Here with Erik Wilhelm, Head of Research at Kyburz. Kyburz, famous for electric vehicles. So let's talk about the situation in Europe right now when it comes to electric vehicles. There are all these low emission zones, ultra low emission zones. I was at 25 cities in the Netherlands, where we are right now, in the city centre of these low emission zones. Is this driving interest in electric vehicles?
Ian, great to be here, thanks. Absolutely, we notice a lot of interest. Our customers are always concerned with the legislative landscape, of course, but also the fact that the customers they have enjoy also the peace of electric vehicles, together with, of course, the lack of emissions at the ground level. So all that put together, absolutely, we've got a good moment in time to be building these Kyburz light electric vehicles.
Now, I'm not suggesting that it's like shooting fish in a barrel at the moment when it comes to selling electric vehicles, but certainly there's a lot of interest at the moment. Now, from your perspective, Kyburz has been producing electric vehicles for decades.
35 years.
Right, and you've been involved in the postal sector for a fair while as well.
At least 20.
Now, I noticed on your stand you've got a bit of a longer model this year. What's driving that? Why are we moving from the classic DXB, as it used to be, to this longer model?
Well, the trend, of course, is towards carrying more volume. So parcel growth in the customers, naturally. But we also noticed that there are advantages from a process perspective to having more space available on the vehicles. So that's really what's pushing us in that direction. Now, what's extra kind of special or interesting is actually the fact that our new models can detach those loads. So we're able to pull those giant storage spaces off of the backs of the vehicles, so that you can do all kinds of interesting micro-hub type delivery concepts. But
what does this mean for range? Because whenever we talk about electric vehicles, there's a lot of talk about range. What does the extra capacity, the extra load capacity mean for range?
Without going into too much detail, what we've seen in the battery market is an absolutely revolutionary increase in capacity in the same volume. So we were able to pack a lot more energy into our vehicles than we were, let's say, 10 years even ago, for really competitive prices. So that's what I think is driving this lack of range anxiety. So we used to get the question quite a bit, and nowadays it's assumed, or it's a given, that we will be able to manage all the routes. For example, the Swiss Post drives 3 tours per day with our largest vehicles. And we also have a lot of data and experience showing how to sort of optimize the size of battery for a postal customer. And that leads to sort of a lot of safety and security in that area.
Well, without going into questions about security, I suppose, but let's go back to you just said that Swiss Post is doing up to 3 tours with the one vehicle in one day. Is that one battery as well?
One battery, one vehicle, one day.
So we're not talking about swapping out a battery after you've done a mail route and then getting another one in. This is the one battery.
It's one battery. Of course, they're plugging it in between, so there's a little bit of downtime between each tour. And of course, overnight we're charging, but it's 3 tours a day. Yeah.
But that's an amazing utilization of the asset. Mm-hmm. When traditionally we just think about using the vehicle. Well, take a diesel van. A diesel van might be used during the day and an evening shift. But this is great that you're actually able to get this out of an electric vehicle. At the risk of doing your job, trying to sell your product here, what are you seeing then? You mentioned about the way the vehicles are used, and I've seen you had the trailers as well as the box on the back. How are those facilities being used by posts when you see the vehicles actually put into the field for use? How are those sort of not facilities, but those features being used?
What's really cool about our swap box concept, and I think what the customers really appreciate, essentially, is the ability to arrange their tours in an efficient way. So it lets the delivery agents not explode packages all over the sidewalk to re-sort things in the field, but rather they have sort of, let's say, small tour-sized chunks of material that they can bring.
Yeah.
And so that's really, I think, what draws people to that kind of concept. We're still working a little bit on how the whole thing works. Of course, being the perfectionists we are, nothing's ever totally finished, especially in the cobblestone streets. So one of the things that we learned from so these vehicles are actually in service for over a year now. And what we learned is that there's an importance of having larger wheels for the cobblestone kind of like hilly streets that we have in Switzerland.
Yeah, so that customizing the vehicle for the environment is part of what we're talking about here. Is that what you're driving at?
Absolutely, yeah. We're constantly learning from the deployments. We like to actually sort of build things, sell them, test them, and then improve as we learn from the way the customers are using.
Now, can you give us a sneak preview on anything that you're developing at Kyburz? Is there anything that you're really excited about right now that...
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ian, because in fact, I've got something really close to my heart. No, I've been working on an AC bidirectional charging concept that I want to mention. And for us at Kyburz, this kind of rounds out the picture of how you can use our fleet in a smart way. So when you do have your vehicles plugged in, you wind up having quite a lot of battery capacity just sitting there. And what we've been able to show through a real world deployment is that you can actually earn a lot of money offsetting substantial costs by having your vehicle plugged into the wall and optimizing the electricity price. So we're able to put just a normal plug, push electricity back into the grid when it's needed, when prices are high, and then pull it out and charge when prices are low. So it's quite an exciting project, and I'm burning to get it out there, more numbers.
Well, there you go. I mean, if anybody wants to find out more, contact Erik at Kyburz, and well, he'll talk your leg off when it comes to electric vehicles. Erik Wilhelm from Kyburz, thank you very much for joining us today.
Super, thanks Ian.
Here with Gordon Steward from the Information Factory. Gordon, costing.
Yes.
We don't talk, it's like the thing we don't want to talk about in the parcel delivery world, and yet it's so important. So how can it be made sexy again?
Making it sexy again, I will start with an admission by saying I'm not a costing person, neither am I a finance person. I have very little understanding or knowledge of numbers and what have you, but I appreciate their power. I'm basically a commercial and operations guy, spent 30 years in the postal parcel sector, and one thing I do know is the power of data and the power of numbers to help you with your business.
Yeah.
So I am here now as a convert to
come to you today as a
numbers
convert.
and costing, and saying, it's pretty useful stuff.
So what's the starting point though, really? If you're talking to a postal operator, a parcel company, what's the starting point to all of this? Because we're struggling with it. It's a very competitive world when it comes to parcel delivery. You've got customers, as in e-commerce retailers, that want to maintain costs, they want to get the best deal possible. So how do we survive this clash of...
Okay, the starting point really is to sort of say, do you know your true costs? Like your end-to-end costs of getting your parcel from A to B, like so looking at your direct costs, but then also very importantly, do you know what your indirect costs are? So it could be all the sales support, customer service guys, billing, finance teams in the background that help to make the big parcel network operate effectively. Do you know what the true costs are? And most people will go, I've got a sort of a rough idea, but to be honest, don't know the actual details. So that's why we are with the Information Factory here to sort of say, well, we can actually show you what your true costs are and help you develop a true model of what your cost picture looks like, so that you can then not just use it within the finance team to sort of look at revenue, how profitable you are, or you're losing money, making money, but actually put it into practice.
So we've moved from like back of the envelope stuff to death by Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about here is using technology to move beyond the spreadsheet to try and get some insights into real costs, opportunities for savings, and then understanding what
exactly
then you really should be offering as a price to the customer.
You've hit the nail on the head. It is taking the pain away from the manual spreadsheets and the going around with the clipboards and doing your sort of activity. Well, it is using activity-based costing, this tool, but it's sort of applying a lot more sophistication and automation to the process, so that you're not having to literally to spend hours and hours and hours monitoring your costs on a manual basis. It's like a do it once and then.
So my next question is that for a lot of delivery networks, they'll have subcontracted delivery routes.
Yeah.
And those contracts will come up for renewal, and there might be a new price put in place because there's a new contractor. So can you take all of that into account without having to redo the entire exercise, I suppose? Is there a way to not have to go through the entire exercise of starting and working out all of your costs? Can you just update this as you go along?
Absolutely. So we would create a unified database that would have all your sort of shipment information, using all your checkpoint data and what have you as well with it. All the cost data can be loaded once, so that when you need to update your costs, once you've got a base layer of costs in there, it's a very simple process to do. And you can choose the frequency with which you wish to review your costs.
Can you use it in reverse then to say, well, now we can identify where we're spending too much on things?
Yes. Yeah. It will give you a breakdown of your costs. It'll analyze all the costs going, of moving a parcel from A to B. So you can look at it and you might go, ooh, my line haul costs are a big chunk of my total costs of parcel delivery. I think there may be a bit of an issue. So you can drill down into your line haul cost and look at the specific activities within the line haul and go, maybe we can shave some money here or what have you, to then reduce our costs, increase our margins.
We don't talk about line haul very often, do we? We're always talking about the last mile.
There's a lot of that. I'm just thinking of all the different elements in the
But if
chain.
you're a postal operator, you're responsible for all of that, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's not like you say, well, I'm not responsible for that. The parcels just turn up in my warehouse and I deliver them.
Yeah.
If you're a postal operator, you've got first mile, middle mile, last mile. You've got everything
the whole thing to think
to
about.
worry about. The sales teams, the whole.
Yeah.
Dare I say it, bureaucracy that goes with.
There's a lot of moving parts, which are difficult to control. It's not everything is within your control. Things happen in this 24/7 world of postal and parcel. So you've got to keep on top of it.
Gordon, we've had a conversation about data without mentioning AI once. So
we have.
Well done us.
Thank you very much.
Gordon Stewart from the Information Factory. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure.
I'm here with Jorn Spiertz from Shiptimize.
That's it.
Also, the award-winning Shiptimize. Can we say that now?
That's it, yes.
Tell us really quickly, before we get into our discussion, tell us what Shiptimize does.
Right. So we're a technology partner to post and parcel companies, basically to help them answer the question on how to scale branded e-commerce connectivity for SMBs against a predictable cost structure and on a high quality level.
So when you're talking to postal operators or parcel companies, what are the problems they come to you with? What are the problems they want you to solve?
Right. So from a postal parcel perspective, serving e-commerce clients, connectivity between their sales channels and the carrier's API is a critical component. Essentially not having that connectivity for them to connect their sales channels to the carrier API means they're losing business. So what we currently see in the industry is that carriers tend to connect themselves to multi-carrier APIs, carrier libraries, or start building in-house those integrations or through software agencies that are technical specialists. But to all of those solutions, there are challenges and definitely downsides, from losing customer ownership to slow, lengthy development cycles once doing it in-house, or managing a whole set of different agency stakeholders. So they come to us to basically partner with one experienced provider that both has logistics know-how as well as the technical expertise to connect in-brand plugins to all the different marketplaces and online shop systems like Shopify, Amazon, and so on and so forth.
So is this trying to speed up the onboarding process in some respects and reducing the churn? Is that what we're aiming at?
Definitely. So small and medium-sized businesses, they want to have plug-and-play connectivity, right? And for post and parcel companies to keep them close and beyond being a a delivery provider, they nowadays also want to be a digital partner to them to provide more than just a shipping from A to B. And indeed, like being able to offer plug-and-play connectivity, they are able to onboard in a much quicker pace and get the revenue streams and parcel volumes going.
Are we also talking about the flow of data during the delivery process as well? I mean, this is one of the things that we grapple with in the delivery sector is how do we manage customer notifications and those sorts of things? Is that part of what Shiptimize does as well?
Right, so the post-purchase experience by sending out, tracking emails based on certain instances during the delivery process, that's something that we offer as a modular component and as part of our solution that we deliver. Yes.
I think it's a really interesting question for us, though, isn't it? Who should be communicating with the customer? The person who's bought something online.
Right.
I mean, I live through it myself. When I buy something online, I'm saying, well, am I going to get my notifications from the retailer?
Yeah.
Am I going to get my notifications from the delivery company?
Right.
And if I don't know who's going to be delivering it, and all of a sudden I start getting messages from a certain carrier or a post,
right.
There's a question, is this legitimate?
Yeah.
Should I click on this link? There's a whole load of questions to be answered there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we generally see is that carriers do send out those communications to basically inform the recipient of the delivery process, and on top of that, certain merchants also decide to inform retailers recipients on the delivery process. But yes, that can be sometimes a bit of an overkill. But that's something that has definitely happened.
You mentioned marketplaces before. What do you think is important for postal operators in particular to understand when it comes to dealing with marketplaces? I've asked a difficult question, but what is it that you think, because we're not talking about just a single retailer necessarily. We might be talking about a marketplace that's home to a multitude of retailers. It might be product that could be coming from China, could be coming from a local warehouse and things like that. I mean, is that the kind of stuff that posts need to understand when they start connecting to a marketplace and that kind of thing?
Well, so from our point of view and our perspective and what we deal with day to day is a marketplace from our perspective is a sales channel that retailers sell their products on. And the type of customers that we serve through our technology, branded technology that Post and Parcels deploy in the market, is basically seeing the marketplace as a sales channel where retailers want to have their order data with and be able to generate shipping labels and automatically sync order status back to the marketplace, update tracking ID. And I think from that perspective, a marketplace is seen as a sales channel where their products are being distributed from different kind of fulfillment locations. That's a matter of kind of like directing the data towards the correct fulfillment places, and that's something that the software that we deliver could
It's all interesting stuff. Jorn, thanks for joining us today. Jorn Spiertz from Shiptimize.
That's it. Thank you very much. All right.
Coming up soon on the Postal Hub podcast in 2026, we've got Lynn Guzal, the Chief Retail Officer at POS Malaysia. We've got Peter Summers and Alan Barry and many more great speakers coming your way. Make sure you don't miss any of these episodes. Subscribe to the podcast in your favourite podcast platform. What do you call it? You got the old Spotify there, or your old Apple Podcasts and all the other ones. Subscribe in all the platforms. I don't mind. Costs you nothing. While you're at it, please do leave a rating and a review for the podcast. 5 out of 5 would be great. Just give me a little present, to kick off 2026. You can follow me on LinkedIn. Just look for me, Ian Kerr, on LinkedIn, and I'll fill your feed with stuff that's better than a lot of the AI-generated nonsense that's out there right now. If you want to email me about anything at all, my email address is ian@thepostalhub.com. I'm Ian Kerr. Thanks for listening in, and I look forward to your company next time on the Postal Hub podcast.